Hey everyone, Miacidae here, welcome back to Darkest Dungeon. So, today on the No Hope Estate, we are going to be going into the Warrens again. Maybe fighting the Dwemer like he might appear. The goal is just to level people up and kind of level up this area while we are at it. And maybe add to our bank tab because we're bringing the Trapper along today. So we'll see how many corpses we can scrounge up with him. Now, the trinket is going to be interesting because I haven't been using Junia, our Vestal, very much, but this would be a good trinket for her just because it ups her damage. It also gives her plus protection if I have her in row 2, which would add to her survivability. So depending upon how I wanted to use her, this would give me a reason to use her, especially in the ruins where she might be decent now. So I'm gonna go get this because quite honestly it gives me a reason to use the Vestal, because I'm finding it hard to have a party that has a use for her. I forced myself in the farmstead and she didn't do bad, but outside of very case uses, it's going to be interesting. So that being said, I'm not using her today. The party for today is going to be a marking team again. So we're going to have, I should rename this guy. I really should. So since I had two of the old name there, I just wanted to rename the Martial Saints just because I otherwise would get very confused very quickly if I had them in the same squad, which could be a thing. So we instead have Wong Ki, the Martial Saint, who's mainly going to be using, once again, Azure Dragonclaw because plus damage versus HP above 80% and plus damage versus marked. Now, if I have Corsi, our Occultist, use, a mark and then he attacks, that's gonna kind of obliterate him. Otherwise, if I'm doing something against rank like 4, I do plus damage versus rank 4 and plus crit and plus damage versus marked. And then if I take them out, I buff the party for plus speed and plus accuracy for 2 combats. And then we have Towering Presence if I want to give him a block and buff the party. Fun stuff. We have the Ancestor's Candle for plus damage and plus dodge if the torch is above 50, and the Ancestor's Lighter Opener to buff accuracy and on melee hit, 1 for 4 bleed. We're then going to have Wolfwood, the Bounty Hunter, just because we haven't been using any Bounty Hunters recently. Collect Bounty, of course, for plus damage versus marked. I doubt the damage versus humanness is going to come into play. Mark for death if you can't hit with Collect Bounty and there's nothing marked. Come Hither actually might come in more handy, just case dependent. Then we have Murderer's Mask, upping his damage, plus crit versus anything below 40% health, but lowering his virtue chance and healing received. And Crime Lord's Molars, upping his crit versus anything marked, lowering his damage versus anything marked, but we're pretty much going to have a crit, and then on crit, clear marked target. But between the plus damage and the plus crit, we're likely taking them out. We have Ver, our Trapper again, just mainly to do damage with either Fungal Claw, lowering accuracy with Confusion Spores or Skin Prey. We have the Boar Trophy on him for the plus damage with melee skills. It also gives him plus protection, and then Ancestor's Map for scouting. And then finally, Corsi. He's going to be doing mainly Vulnerability Curse, lowering dodge, Demon Pull if I need a pull, clearing corpses, or if I run into something kind of scary, I do have Weakening Curse, lowering their damage and protection, and finally Abyssal Artillery just to annihilate back rows, case dependent of course. For our trinkets we have the Vial of Sand, upping his accuracy and his debuff chance as well as move chance, and he gets plus 15 dodge while he's bleeding if that becomes a thing. And we have the Cursed Incense that we got a few weeks ago. That was the plus debuff chance again, upping his debuff chance. It doesn't show it here, but that is a plus 50% debuff chance just from his trinkets here. So the vulnerability hex here is really a 160% debuff chance. And then on range hit, which is any of his hits here, he debuffs the target for plus 15% damage received. So, Wolfwood and Wong Ki will be hitting a lot harder. So let's get to this. Once again, it is a long, so we're taking all the food we can get. Full stack of shovels, full stack of bandages and medicinal herbs, a few torches, and we should take a few keys as a just in case.
To prosecute our war against the Swine, we must first
stacking up that food really quick, and off we go. Oh boy, this is a big one. Let me think about how I want to do this, because it's explore rooms. So if I go left, down. No, 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 no. So right, 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 down. Yeah, that pretty much hits all the rooms. Okay, so we're just going to go left. Kind of intertwining if anything looks too juicy, but otherwise, we'll see what happens. I'm going to leave all of the Crimson Curse stuff until, like, afterward, but we'll see what happens. I can pop up to this curio once I am down at the room below us. But for now, Trapper can disarm this trap and we keep going right. Have bandages for this little guy here. Getting the gold, of course. And in we go. So far, so boring. Leaving the books. And now we go left, after this battle, of course. So, let's do some damage to a Skulker here. This will blight them. We can vulnerability hex on the Bloodstarved Leech. Now we do more damage to them. Just taking out Skulker.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Azure Dragonclaw. Gonna take out the Fleshling. Otherwise it's gonna eat my corpses. Skinning the prey, getting me my lovely, lovely skins. Collecting bounty. There we go. Now we just have this guy left, and I don't think I have anything for stealth. So just gotta wait for him, which, there we go. 4 prize skins, yay!
Victory's mount.
And I mean, we can take everything. Just wanted to make sure we were gonna get the good stuff there. Taking the sconce. Torching up, going to the left. Like I said, we'll go up and down when the stuff is actually there. Ooh, that is interesting right there. Gonna heal Ver a bit. Taking what I can. I'm gonna use a torch and then take the portrait. I think they use some of the stuff from a Carrion puppet right there, if I'm not mistaken, in that little section. It's always interesting to see what's in the piles. Then we get to just keep heading left. Just to do all the rooms here. Oh, I am so tempted. A marking team really... So, let me see here. Not sure how long this riposte lasts either. But realistically, if I did this... I'm pretty much fine with however things land. So... Ooh. I don't have anti-venoms, but screw it, screw it. I know I shouldn't be doing them this early, but...
The infinite malignity of the stars.
Okay. We're going to mark for death. Just getting that mark on him for now. We're going to defensive traps, guarding an ally that is going to be... Where's the least health here? That's going to be Corsi. He doesn't have dodge, so I'm going to do Weakening Curse. This also ups the damage received on him. If I do Feign Retreat, we get a debuff dodge on the Sycophant, or the, Sycophants here. And we get a riposte on Wonky here. Post for 3 rounds, okay. Can't collect bounty onto the Shambler, but we can take out a Sycophant.
Back to the pit.
Gonna Abyssal Artillery him, upping damage received again. Fungal Claw, doing what damage we can. Azure Dragon's Ascension. I was really hoping that would crit. 2 riposte going his way, Shambler down.
No place for mortal man.
Ooh, now just this little guy. Ooh, Weakening Curse? Actually, should I be using that bandage on anyone? Nah. Weakening Curse. And now pretty much anyone can take him out.
Executed with impunity.
Ancestor Scroll,
These
it's
nightmarish creatures can
pretty much worthless.
be beaten.
But if I don't take it, I'm gonna keep getting it. Yikes. Alright, well, that was fun. I'm gonna get rid of the portrait for the Jade. And we'll keep going. Yeah, because I don't really need any of that. Default party order. It's a good thing I'm not a bleed team, or rather not really depending on the bleeds. Trying to take out the slasher. Going to mark the chopper. Collect a bounty on Chopper.
Continue the
Kinda
onslaught.
surprised that didn't crit.
Destroy them all.
Ooh, okay, that didn't stun us at least. And at least we can Azure Dragonclaw the slasher down.
Another abomination.
Then when we collect, these guys come forward. Skinning my prey. I'm gonna Vuln Hex on the Spine Eater, because I would rather one-hit him. Oh, really? Well, gotta get rid of that Aegis, and then we miss. That is
Teetering on the brink.
really not good.
The abyss.
Marking the Carrion Puppet. If we get a 1-2, we might have this. Seeing if we can one-hit the Carrion Puppet. That is a no. I can take out the Carrion Puppet with Azure Dragon's Ascension. This gives us accuracy and a speed buff. Now, Wolf, what do you need to live?
A faint hope blossoms.
Okay, cool. Getting rid of the bleed. Collect bounty. Crit didn't take him out.
Blow.
Now he gets an Aegis. That was close. Alright, well. Skinning prey. He's kind of slow, so we can... Which one gets rid of protection? Not that it really matters, but this damages him, gets rid of the protection, then we hit him with whatever and he goes down.
Formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Alright, healing up with the food. 5 prized skins. And a jade. So I'm gonna get rid of the gold for the jade. I have a extra dosage, so that doesn't matter. We have one back at home. Oof. You know what? We're gonna firewood. Take the gold.
Huddled together,
Feast for the stress.
furtive and vulnerable. Rats in a maze.
Oh, it's gonna make me get rid of this stuff. Yeah. Okay. So I can get rid of the mortality debuff. But let's see here. I'm gonna do Ferris Web. This prevents nighttime ambush, and the party gets plus debuff chance and plus debuff resistance. Nature provides. This gives me more food and more prized skins. Because I totally need more food. I have 5 left. I really would like scouting chance. And then I'm going to do this is how we do it because he does not have a guaranteed critical. This also ups his accuracy.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
And continuing to the left. Grabbing the sconce for the torch. At least we dodged that. And we'll get this curio on the way back. Trapper is actually good with traps, so we'll... Or not the Trapper, Bounty Hunter, so... De-stressing him a tad. Battle room with curio. These guys again. So, Fungal Claw, getting rid of Carrion Eater. This Blight, if it goes off. I was not expecting him to go first with a 1 speed. So what I can do is actually Asia Dragon Ascension, take out the Carrion Eater. This gives me speed buff and an accuracy buff. Then we're going to Voln Hex. We're going to hit the Swine Chopper. This marks. And we're going to try to take out the Chopper.
Decimated.
They really want Wolfwood down. Really? Okay. So what I can do, so we do a little more damage, is... Oh, it's on cooldown now, isn't it? Yeah. So let's just collect bounty on the puppet. Marking the puppet so we do more damage to it. Skinning prey. That moves everyone forward. And then Quan Yi can take out the Carrion puppet. Okay, yeah, we're still good. Really? 1 health? 1 health?
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
Why are they targeting Wolfwood so much? These Spine Eater, or the Carrion puppets down. We need the mark on the Spine Eater. I'm not expecting Wolfwood to get past another Death Door check. So unless I can one-hit this thing, which I wasn't expecting.
More blood soaks the soil. feeding the evil.
That's how it is sometimes, though. Like, they just will not leave certain heroes alone. Just to get the fight over with.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Okay, I am bringing the trinkets back, so let's get rid of the jades, let's get rid of the crime lords, yeah, do that. The jades are probably going to be worth more than the money soon. And we'll continue with this. Alright, I don't want to do 2 fights on the way down to this. And since it's so long, I can skip 2 rooms, so these are going to be the 2 I skip. Going to get Huang Qi drunk. So that's 30% extra damage for him. Gonna go up to the Curio. And then we backtrack. So this gets me a torch. I'm not sure the Trapper actually gets me any extra loot, if I'm being totally honest. I can probably get rid of these torches.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
Alright, sycophants and supplicants, I should say. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, let's get rid of row 1. Marking row 2. Actually, I can't hit him now. Darn. Does Azure Dragon Ascension take Sycophant out? It probably does. But now everyone gets the accuracy and speed buff. So this might be a long fight. Marking 2 again, so now I have a very good chance of hitting someone with the mark. I'll most likely take this guy out in row 1. Now they move forward. I should be going faster than one of them. I'm going to take the time to skin it. Just because I should have this guy down before he goes. Or not. I thought. But still, we got him. Alright, taking the skin.
Remind yourself that
Gonna use the torch, take the portrait, move on along after we heal. Okay, just a few rooms left. So going down. I'm not doing the extra Shambler. Not with a group of 3. Oh, yikes. You know what? Defensive traps. Guarding Corsi. I think I picked the right move. 3, and okay. So we're gonna vulnerability hex. I'm gonna put the mark onto the Spine Eater, but we're not gonna hit him right away. Instead, what we're gonna do is Ascension hitting the Fleshling so it doesn't get max health and all that jazz.
The blood.
That also gives us that speed buff and everything. Then I'm gonna Vuln Hex the Swine Chopper. I'm assuming the drummer is gonna go down just to riposte. I want the Spine Eater down. Good old crit there. Chopper. Next turn, if anything lives, I'm just gonna mark the drummer. What we're gonna do is Skin Prey, because I have an inkling I can take him out no matter what now. So taking what I can, using the bandage,
But a victory nonetheless.
using a bit of food, taking the prize skins, leaving the money, using the strong box which is trapped. Lovely. Going to the right. Lovely. This isn't too bad though.
Find no clemency in this place.
Worst case scenario, after the fight I get no loot. So taking one down. Going to Vuln Hex the other one, which I can then Azure Dragon Claw. Skinning Prey. And then taking out the Carrion Eater. Leaving all that, healing up a tad,
Or is it merely a trick of the light?
torching. I can get rid of a negative quirk with this, so let's see what we have. Anemic. Calm actually is what I would like to get rid of. And we did not. That's fine. Bunch of brigands here. I can use whatever I want from pretty much any row, so this is fine. Just protecting Quercy for now, because they're the most vulnerable. We are going to Vuln Hex the Brigand that still has a action. However, I was going to say I might do Ascension on the Firemouth. Ascension would take out the Firemouth. They're a little more dangerous to me. Then taking out the Hatchetman. I'm going to extend this to get the 3 skins. So that's going to be a Towering Presence just for the Aegis and the extra damage there. Skin Prey. 3 human skins coming right up. Weakening Curse. Hitting an Aegis, good job. Forgot to use a bandage last turn. Wacha. 6 skins.
Foolish
6
cloud,
lovely skins.
brought low and driven into the mud.
Give. And then Jing Province Governor Seal plus protection if in rank 3 or 4, plus stun resistance. That's actually not bad whatsoever. So I'm thinking, if I go right, do this fight, go up, get the curio, do this fight, go left, I'm done. So what would be best? I still probably need the key. But I can... I kind of want that plus damage. Because I have the... keg thing on him.
The way is
Let's
lit.
do that.
The path is
Get rid of the
clear.
torches.
We require only the strength to follow it.
Ooh, this is a fight, alright. You can try to get rid of the Heinous Fleshling. Then we're gonna Vuln Hex on the Spine Eater. And Azure Dragon Ascension on him. That way, what I can do is Abyssal Artillery these two. Well, Ver and Huang can take out the front rows. So, Heinous Fleshling.
Decisive pummeling.
Or maybe I can't do that. Huh. There goes that plan because of crit, which is not bad, but... Weakening Curse, just get rid of the block then. And we'll get rid of the Spine Eater. Just because that thing is dangerous. Taking out the Ghast. Marking Ghast. Oof. And taking him out. Ooh, he's gonna have 1 health left. I mean, technically I can leave him alone and go for the Slasher. Which now that brought the Slasher into range. Marking the Slasher, so I pretty much guarantee to take him out.
Slowly, gently. This is how life is taken.
This is cutting it close damage-wise.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
But at least there's only 1 more fight. Or there should only be 1 more fight, I should say. After this, I can just collect the curios and go.
Ringing ears.
Ouch.
Blurred vision.
Okay.
The end approaches.
So we are going to defensive traps on the Martial Saint just because 3 health left.
A singular
Hopefully that's
strike.
not a stun. Please tell me that's not a stun. Well, that is what it is. Okay, realistically, I can take out the Carrion Eater. Okay. I was gonna say, I'm probably not taking out either of them, but I can do that. And then we're gonna Vuln Hex on the Chopper. However, I have other plans. We'll see what happens. Weakening Curse just so the Slasher doesn't do as much damage to us. However, he realistically will.
Unnerved,
Yeah.
unbalanced.
Come on. There we go. Who dares challenge me? You're at death's door, buddy. I wanted to take out the Swine Slasher here. However, Chopper
Precision.
had an action and could take him out in 1 hit. We need to re-guard you now that we are not going to get stunned. The second one down. Vuln Hex. We can do this just so we don't lose the skins. He's not going to bypass guard. And then down little piggy goes. Warm wine is waiting. You need it at this point.
This expedition.
Oh, I forgot that I sold these, and therefore I'm gonna find more of them. However, that being said, this room here should be the very last room. I'm gonna use the firewood just so we can take more stuff. I'm gonna feast for the stress.
It's a goal without hope.
I'm gonna trade out the keys for the jades. We're gonna leave that. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. Bandages. Then, web just for the nighttime ambush. Nature provides, giving me more prize skins, so that can be shovels. Taking the food. Using a food. And then we can encourage just to lower stress a little bit. Not that that's gonna matter too much. And toss a key in here, hoping it's not a mimic, because at this point that would be very bad. We're gonna go up and see what this is. I don't want it. And then left, and this finishes the dungeon. I don't want it. Rip Wolfwood, but ooh, that's gonna be a lot of money.
The swine folk's labyrinth may yet prove to be navigable.
And I do have another bounty hunter to spare, so at least I'm not gonna be waiting for another bounty hunter to spawn. Look at all that money from these prized skins. It's beautiful. It doesn't beat my record, but it's beautiful. And it only doesn't beat my record because they were nerfed and they don't stack up to what they do, and they have a stack of 7 now, so I had to throw other things away. So between the money from that and the quest reward, that's 46,000 again. And then we got the profane scroll for the Vestal, so that she can do more damage and have some protection in rank 2. So she should actually be pretty viable in the runes by now, between the plus damage she gets from this, plus damage from some other trinkets, and the plus damage on Unholy. I'm thinking she'll be pretty good in there. Now, I do have to throw people in the sanitarium just because of all of the diseases. Slugger, so plus damage melee skills on Huang Qi. Vengophobia on Ver, so that's kind of whatever. Fox Lover, which plus guard received. That's actually good if I decided to guard her with the Vixen.
Cast out from the civilized world, these men may yet
More lepers, are they actually any good? Precise Striker and Hardy. I'm gonna hire this leopard just because, like, these two quirks right here are pretty good. It's not like the best leper,
This man understands that.
but it's a pretty good leper. So treating the fits, treating bad humors. Otherwise, I think we're good, and we can go from there. And keep kind of searching around for trinkets I would like, which I'm not sure there's going to be any, but, you know, it's kind of whatever at this point. Yeah, there's not... Once again, it's kind of a wash, but there are decent trinkets in the farmstead, so I could kind of pick those up because that's a quicker one, and then do a double dungeon next episode once again, and see where we can go from there. Now that I'm not like trying to force myself to use Azure Dragon Ascension, because I thought that was kind of more of his bigger damage move. Huang Qi, or the Martial Saint, is actually pretty good, and I'm surprised they're living as long as they were, because, you know, they hadn't survived a single dungeon. But I'm genuinely surprised with how well that's been going. And from here on, it's kind of a straight shot to where I want to be. I'm kind of surprised. So it shouldn't honestly be too much longer until we're in Veteran. I'm kind of putting it in... I don't want to say it's going to be 10 episodes, but it's going to be less than 10 episodes, and we're going to be fine in Veteran. Like, which is kind of fast, it feels, but I don't know. And we're up to almost 90,000 gold. I didn't catch that until just a second ago. So we're kind of sitting good on money. I don't need to focus too much on that, so I can go back to just trying to get whatever. Stocking a little bit back up on heirlooms just for the blueprints and things like that when I get them, and the one I do have, because I only need 10 more buffs for the one I would like. and we can go from there. So I think we're sitting really well. Gonna continue leveling people next time. I think I'm gonna be going into the farmstead. There's not a trinket I really want, but there's a decent trinket for a hero I have no trinkets for, and that also gets me shards. That also, I guess it's a long, but they are actually kind of short considering I only have to complete 60% of it, so I can bail out of there as fast as I want, really, and we can go from there. So I think that's gonna be it for this time. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz, and otherwise, as always, I wish you all well. I'll see you next time, and please, have a good one.